I'm Antano Solar, CEO of Antano Harini Legacy Accelerators. There's a lot of interesting things that are happening in neurotech that can enable solutions that weren't accessible earlier. From feeling emotionally different from within to having access to a remote arm or to develop physical abilities that weren't possible. There's a lot that's happening in neurotech. So over the last 10 years, scientists have been able to figure out how does the brain communicate within itself, and thereby how to tap into that signaling system and leverage that with external devices. And there are both invasive and non-invasive methods. There are non-invasive methods that can stimulate what's happening in the brain, but there are also advancements when it comes to nanoscience and the interfacing with the brain. Initially, it was thought that these technology will be helpful for people who are paralyzed and for controlling other functions of the body. But the latest advancement shows that these can also be used for emotional wellness, because the entire world is recognizing that the next big advancement in science is not going to be about how to correct the body, but it's going to be about how to correct the mind. And as it happened in history all over again, humankind is turning towards machines and technology to see how that can be leveraged to correct the challenges people have with their mind, with their emotions, with their feelings. Because at some level, these are involuntary functions. Not all of us know how to be in charge of our happiness, how to teach our body to produce the right drug at the right time and in the right quantity. And until now, people had to modulate it with medicine or external motivation. Um, but right now, neurotechnology is looking at, can there be precise calibration about these things, and can there be on-demand, timely stimulation of the cortex and achieve emotional steadiness and create the requisite condition for the brain to function at its optimum. So this is where the world is going, and it is a fascinating space to be in, except that there are some challenges when it comes to any progress and any technology, to the fact that a lot of times I think the human mind is a mystery that we all haven't yet fully understood. They did an experiment where they taught a monkey, they connected an electrode to the monkey's brain, and the monkey was given the choice to stimulate happiness and pleasure by just pressing a button. And they found out that the monkey kept doing that again and again and died. So, when you hack into the mind, we haven't yet learned the long term consequences of what a small change can mean. Every emotion that we have is there for a purpose, from feeling lonely to feeling low to sometimes there's a thin line between fear and being cautious. And there's a thin line between being intuitive about danger versus being suspicious. And I think that's wisdom. Now, when you isolate wisdom and you just attach a machine that would just make you confident, that just makes you happy, then what you're really doing is stripping out the body's natural mechanism for being intuitive about what to feel at any given point in time. So, at every decade, every century, there is something that is unique for the human race to actually thrive for. There was a point in time when it was overcoming slavery and getting freedom. Then there was the money rush. And in the last 20, 30 years, everybody has found ways how to make money. Now people are moving into this era where the rush is to do something purposeful. People find happiness in creating impact. And that is the meaning of legacy. And the truth is that anyone can create and launch a legacy, but very few do. And to achieve this outcome and to launch a legacy, a person has to work on several different areas of their life. They have to become outliers at what they do. They have to have a good health. You have an example of legends like Bruce Lee, who died at 35 because they took care of one aspect but they didn't take care of the other. So they have to take care of their health, they have to take care of becoming an outlier, they have to take care of relationships, they have to have the larger ecosystem of people. Now, all of these can take decades to happen. But with the right set of capabilities and personal transformation, anyone can launch a legacy within 2 to 3 years. Even if in the regular track it would have taken them 20 or 30, it can be time compressed to 2 or 3 years. Excellence installation specialists have this capability to take an individual into a very different altered state with their eyes open while they're still awake, where the individual has access to some of the involuntary functions that they wouldn't otherwise have in their waking state. And from that space, certain activities, games, or even a form of communication or metaphoric storytelling can have a direct impact on the deep autonomous system. And we validate these results by taking a before and after of the individual, both in terms of some international profiling like DAS-21 or the health records when we are working on conditions like autoimmune. We also take what are called personal evolution log, where we record a person a year before they up from the time maybe record a person when they come and a year after that, so that they can compare the difference in what's happening to them across a period of time. Because with most things that concerns the body, when a change happens, you can see it, but the better thing is what it continues to do in the months and years to come. So that's why all our methods of validation include immediate testing as well as long-term documentation. So I was a chief technology officer. My fascination is artificial intelligence and data and systems and helping people understand technology. But I was also parallelly fascinated about the mind, and I always found the latest technology available to help people solve challenges with their mind, with their emotions and their feelings. But it was not even possible for me to conceive at that point in time that helping someone have a relaxed mind or helping someone to think clearly can have a physical benefit. Until one day when someone in the US who met with an accident approached me asking that doctors have told him that he's going to be quadriplegic and he cannot move anything below his shoulders for the rest of his life because there's a C5 fracture and a nerve is cut. And is there any way that I could help him regain movements? Now that was an outrageous ask at that point of time for me, and I was like, how is this even possible that he's asking me something like this? But being who I am, I knew that just because I didn't know how to, and just because medical science at that point didn't know how to, doesn't mean that there is no choice for him. There must be some way. So I started exploring all possibilities. I wrote from the most advanced societies in medical science to all alternate therapies, and I've started searching for, is there someone who would have a solution for this young man who's an IIT graduate and his life is just turned upside down? And that's when I discovered, and I was John Grinder, he mentored me, and I found that there are some people for whom naturally the body has a backup mechanism. A lot of people who get paralyzed stay paralyzed for the rest of their life. But there are some people for whom naturally the backup system in the neurology activates itself. So I started exploring, there must be a connection between why that backup system works for some people and why for others it doesn't work. And I'd stumbled upon the ability of the neurology to do something called as plasticity, to take the nerves that are specifically designed for one function to learn and do the functioning of the neighboring nerves. And we were able to figure out that, if you help someone with internal involuntary responses in their thinking, in their emotions, and also if you're able to give accurate biofeedback to the neurology, it increases the possibility for the body to self-activate the backup mechanisms that we are born and gifted with as humans.